I'm interested in shadow work, but I don't know where to start.
Where you
So
want to start?
where's a good place to start? Somebody who's interested and curious, but they don't know where to start,
I like the word curious.
right?
I think that's the start. Get curious. Question everything. Question
When you say
everything.
question everything, what do you mean?
I mean, like every action, every thought, everything that comes into space, every belief that you have, every agreement that you've made, and you're going to not have awareness of all of these beliefs and agreements that were made for you that you have then continued to buy into because they are just how you move, how you are, how you experience life, how you take in information and respond to it. So you get curious about your reactions, what comes up in you. If somebody brings something up in you, you have a reaction towards somebody without judging it, just get curious why. Just asking why. When you behave a certain way, good or bad, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's no judgment on it. Just ask why. Like, where did that come from? Like somebody, honks at you in traffic, or you think they're honking at you. Why? Why did I think they were honking at me? Was it me? Why do I think it's about me? Why do I think it has nothing to do with me? And then like what came up? Were you just like, oh, I'll watch where I'm going? Or were you like, how dare you? Like just see your reactions to it. Why am I angry? But like allowing answers to come up and then questioning those. Like, why did somebody honking at me make me angry? Like, and then you would have an answer of, because I felt rushed, because I felt like they were taking out their aggression on me. Why? Why does it feel like they were taking out their aggression on me? Because when I was growing up, that any kind of outward aggression came out was directed at me. So I felt like it was always my fault. Now I jumped right to the inner child here, but that was like just how my brain worked on that. So anything that comes up, you're asking yourself why, and then you're letting yourself answer, and then you're questioning that. When you tell your kids or your coworkers or your spouse that this is an action that you expect of them, like this has to be done. Why? When you have like the way that you like things, you're allowed to like things. You're not like, you don't have to like let go of all that. But I'm just saying, like, why? Why does the silverware go in this drawer? Why does it have to go in this drawer? Why do the towels have to be folded this way? Why does your hair have to look a certain way? Why does hair not matter? Just like all of these different things that you can keep diving into. It's just like everything. So think of like a child, right? So think of the toddlers when they get into that why phase, when they are questioning everything, and just like get to that space. And also, do you even allow yourself to question? There's like asking why scary. Do you feel like you're not allowed to ask why? Why? Like allow your space. Just like tell yourself, I get to ask why. I get to have questions. I get to be curious. I get to find out what this means to me and what it feels like for me and what is the truth beyond it. So long answer, why? Question why for everything is the first start.
I think it's a great first start.
Yeah.
I think it's super important. And I think it's going to be like really beneficial along the journey of diving into your shadow. What comes up for me when I think about it, like shadow work in general, it's the idea of it at its core is basically there's parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at and that we don't want to deal with. And not only do we hide those parts from the outside world, but we also hide them oftentimes from ourselves. So the entry point of just getting really curious and asking yourself why about your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your experiences, the day-to-day stuff that you just got done breaking down leads into, because eventually you're going to start drawing connections and correlations to childhood. Like that's just where it goes. I mean, eventually you're going to get to the point where I do this because of that. And then once you start get like comfortable in that questioning, curious kind of energy and space, the next thing is to ask yourself, what do you not want to look at? What part of you do you not want people to see? What aspect of your personality, your thoughts, your feelings, maybe there's an experience like everybody has. I mean, this is kind of like the easiest way to think of it. And this is also a good practice. you can just think back over the course of your life. And you don't have to go super deep here in the beginning stages of it, but you can just think back over the course of your life and see it in a very linear fashion from like the earliest memories that you have all the way up until today. And along that timeline, there's going to be things that pop up that are things that you're not proud of, things that you have shame about. There are experiences that maybe, like I'll give you an example of one for me. And it's an easy example that I'm comfortable sharing because it's not like super deep and emotional, but I remember pushing a girl down the stairs when I was in elementary school. Like straight up shoved her down some cement stairs and she tumbled down the stairs and scraped up her knees and everything like that. I have shame over that experience. Like I can remember it, not super vividly, but I can remember doing that. And then I remember feeling bad about that. And then I just have always kind of felt bad about that thing that I did. So that's an example of something that happened in my life that I carry shame over, that I'm not like super excited to think about, feel, and or talk about. And that is the entry into learning about what you're actually avoiding dealing with, because that's just like the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be some really deep-seated stuff in there that starts to come out. But by building that curiosity in the beginning and getting comfortable with kind of questioning why, it's going to give you that foundation to be able to start looking into it deeper and deeper and deeper. And of course, like we always say, right? Like, get help. You need help.
Yeah.
Your shadow is one of those things that is slippery and hard to look at. And that's why it's so important to have somebody help you with it, whether that's a therapist or coaches or your best friend. Maybe it doesn't matter, it's your partner. You need help to go into it and to be able to see it clearer and clearer and clearer. Otherwise, it's always going to kind of like be your shadow. It's going to get really good at
elude you.
Yeah, it's good at hiding from you. And when you start trying to look at it, it's going to keep hiding and throw up a bunch of distractions. So yeah, I think those are good entry points.
I think so too.
Anything else for you that comes up when you think of that question?
I think we can go deep into this, and I think we'll just say like, reach out, let's work together.
There you go.
Like we have a community coming up that you can find a safe space to dive into this.
Yeah, it's important. It's a big part of our healing, and I think it's a big part of healing in general. And shadow work is just a label, right? There's a lot of different ways to kind of look at it and break it down. But eventually at some point along your journey, you have to deal with the stuff that you don't want to deal with. Otherwise, it's just always going to be there.
I remember, like, it doesn't also, like, it's not just the depths of, like, hell that you're digging into. Like, the shadow cannot exist without light, or else you wouldn't be able to see the shadow. So you get to, like, come up for air, and you get to find the joy and actually, like, feel the benefits of doing the shadow work. The shadow cannot exist without the light. So you get to bring them both together.